Welcome to the Deep Dives, where we plunge into fascinating ideas and emerge with insights that make you just a little bit more well-informed. Today we're doing just that by contemplating life itself and what happens when a mind is wired to explore it in, well, some pretty unique ways. We're deep diving into Hassam Ezeldin's Cerebral Humor, a truly unique collection of what he calls playful reflections.
That's right. And this isn't your typical book or a straightforward narrative at all. It's much more like an intellectual adventure, sort of navigating through this incredibly diverse set of observations he makes.
Yeah, like where does he even go?
Everywhere. We'll be navigating from the grand, kind of intricate laws that might govern the entire universe, all the way down to the quirks of human behavior, some sharp societal critiques, and even these really profound questions about existence and truth and wisdom itself.
Okay, so our mission today, then, is to extract the most important nuggets of knowledge and insight from this collection. We want to unearth those surprising facts, offer some aha moments that, leave you feeling genuinely well-informed, and maybe even a little more contemplative about your own world.
Okay, let's unpack this. So right from the start, Ezeldin sets this unconventional tone. It immediately tells you something about his whole approach to life, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. He confesses he's not fond of long introductions, nor short ones, nor even of fixed formulas in writing. It's quite funny.
Right. He even, whimsically wished he could release an empty book.
Exactly. And then there's that great anecdote about the peculiar pen seller. Yeah. The one who overcharged him 3 piastres.
Yeah, leading to a near quarrel. You really get the sense this author truly observes the world around him, even in these tiny, seemingly mundane interactions.
Indeed, and what's so striking is how he immediately turns these everyday observations into these deeper reflections. He's curious about words and numbers.
Oh, like the counting letters thing. Yeah, noting that words like justice and integrity have an odd number of letters, suggesting a single source, while love has an even number, implying 2 people. It's playful. He even says he writes with 2 pens at the same time just to demolish miserable theories.
And the kushari analogy, that's great.
Isn't it? You know that popular Egyptian street food, that mix of rice, lentils, pasta? He uses it to remind us that just like a balanced meal, sometimes the stomach's nourishment matters more than the mind's, and vice versa. It's a quick reminder that even deep thought needs grounding in, reality.
That's a great point. It's almost as if he's saying, if you can't get justice with an odd number of letters, maybe language itself is too limited. And that's exactly where he goes next, isn't it?
It is. He expresses frustration that the Arabic alphabet's 28 letters can't capture all human sounds, like that sharp shh you used to hush a child.
Why don't we add those sounds?
He wonders that. He suggests that primitive communication was, pretty effective despite using what he calls strange sounds.
And this thought then leads him to birds.
Quite naturally, yeah, to the world of birds. He observes that birds communicate through melody, transmitting emotional signals rather than, fixed dictionary meanings. The tone for hunger isn't the same as the tone for fear, for instance.
Okay, so it's about the feeling behind the sound.
Exactly. And he connects this directly to music.
Yep.
Citing how specific tones evoke specific emotions, whether it's, Beethoven's Third Symphony for Triumph or that iconic Jaws score for Dread. It really makes you consider how much feeling is conveyed beyond just literal words, those nonverbal cues we often just take for granted.
Yet despite that, he's still surprisingly skeptical about art's full emotional power, isn't he?
He is, surprisingly. He questions if artistic tools can truly express all dimensions of feeling. He mentions the ancient Arab musician Ziriab, who supposedly made people weep with a melody.
But he doesn't buy it completely.
Well, he admits no painting has ever made him laugh, unless it was a caricature. And there's that wonderful, relatable anecdote.
The one in the art gallery.
Yeah. The elderly man critiquing a surrealist painting, saying it's just like pouring tahini over molasses, swirling it gently a few times.
Like the artist was just messing with people.
Pretty much. He implies that maybe the artist was just fooling us. It's clear that for Ezeldin, true meaning isn't found only in books.
Okay, so where is it found then?
He stresses that a human being must learn to read life itself, to read the universe and its inhabitants. This extends to reading the expressions of others.
Like body language.
Yeah, eye movements, hands, fingers, and even, he playfully suggests, the ears. He notes London researchers are developing software to translate hand gestures.
And then he adds that little jab.
Right, with a wry observation, he says, we'll import that too. So, if we can learn to read people and their subtle cues so deeply, what about the hidden, more profound forces that shape them and the very world they inhabit?
That connection you just made really opens things up.
Yeah.
Heselden then plunges into something even more foundational, this profound idea that a single, intricately complex law might govern everything in the universe.
Yeah, it's a huge idea.
He starts by highlighting the observation of rotation, right?
Exactly. Rotation. Everything spins, from atoms with the nucleus as a sun and electrons as planets to entire solar systems and galaxies. He even connects this universal harmony to the Hajj, the circumambulation around the Holy Kaaba.
It's a powerful image of unity, isn't it?
It is, and it really sets the stage for his next points. His second core observation is infinite diversity within a single thing. This leads to individuality.
Meaning no two people are identical.
Precisely. He points out that since the creation of humankind, no two people have ever been truly identical. Now, he accepts Darwin's theory of evolution in principle regarding adaptation.
But not the whole ape thing.
Right. He strongly rejects the notion that humans evolved from apes, citing his faith that God created man in the best of forms. He also makes a point about DNA, saying that decoding human DNA doesn't alter divine fate. Like, predicting a disease from a genome doesn't prevent it if it's decreed.
Okay, so beyond diversity, Heselden observes the imperfection and mortality of all created things. That Einstein analogy is pretty striking here.
It really is. The child on the beach finding a slightly larger shell and thinking he's made some huge discovery, it brings home the humility true scientists need to have.
And this idea of impermanence then leads him to how he thinks science itself operates.
Exactly. He describes science as an ocean. The more you sail into it, the more you find yourself in nearly the same place, and later realize that the distance has grown. This ties into his law of blossoming and growth, a flower unfolding, a child growing, the universe expanding from the Big Bang.
But there's a flip side.
There is. The inverse. Wilting, aging, stars fading. And this leads to a truly mind-bending idea. He talks about seeing stars that have already vanished because their light takes hundreds of years to reach us.
Wow. So he asks,
who can guarantee that what we see now is not already the past? Perhaps all of life is the past.
that's a heavy concept. He even playfully suggests that if humans can create virtual reality, then maybe all the people we know are not even real, just a simulation.
Right, and that life itself could be a personal test for every individual.
He also touches on how human behavior can reflect natural laws. The am I a pin thing.
Yeah. Describing a magnetic friend who attracts attention or repulsion between people, he suggests humans acquire properties of matter: attract, prick, heat, bend. And for him, death isn't an end, but more like a transition into another state. He even thinks future science will explore the ethereal nature of matter.
Okay, this is where his reflections get particularly pointed. He makes that sharp distinction between progress and elevation.
Yes, using agriculture as an example. He says drip irrigation is progress over flooding, sure, but true elevation would be extracting water from the air only when plants need it.
That's a much higher bar.
Much higher. And he takes a really strong stance against human cloning, saying it's a line that should never be crossed. This leads him right into a critique of modern management, where profit comes at the expense of miserable, depressed workers.
People first, then profit.
That's his emphasis. People first, then profit. And he recounts that common phrase, "I'm the manager," as this sort of pompous, stage-like declaration.
It seems Heselden is always peeling back layers, doesn't he? From external forces to internal ones. And speaking of layers, he then goes into this intriguing idea of masks. What did you find most striking there? Especially given how, common we see this today.
That's a fantastic transition. Yeah, the masks section is fascinating. He dedicates a whole part to it.
Asking where do they come from? When do we start wearing them?
Exactly. Where do they get them from? At what age do they begin to wear them? And when do they finally take them off? He suggests people start wearing them when they realize they're maybe the only one not wearing one.
Driven by social imitation, maybe. We're just trying to get ahead.
Both, he suggests. It really makes you wonder. Have you ever worn a mask, perhaps unconsciously, just to fit in or, get by?
It's a confronting question. What examples does he give?
Oh, vivid ones. The mask of wealth, where someone claims, "I'm not lying, I'm just embellishing." There's the mask of virtue, or the false friend who gossips behind your back but flatters the boss.
And he says judging people is hard because of this.
Right, because they are complex, with emotional shifts that resemble the weather. What he finds most striking, though, is that all masks in this market of life are attractive.
Even the expensive ones.
He suggests the most expensive one is the mask of piety and faith, for its return is rewarding and guaranteed. He's clearly referencing those fraudulent investment companies disguised in religious garb.
Wow. And these masks only come off at the end.
That's what he says, only removed when the end drawing near. But even then, they keep floating until they return to the market for a higher price. It makes you question where you might be unconsciously adopting a mask, or maybe even falling for one that promises that guaranteed return.
This notion of hidden layers, it goes beyond just social masks, doesn't it? It goes into thinking and creating. He talks about his own writing process.
Yeah, that's really interesting. He shares his personal struggle, feeling like someone dictates to me what I write, sometimes feeling an unknown telephone is whispering ideas.
Am I truly the one writing? Or is it him?
Exactly. It points to what he calls a hidden force, possibly the subconscious, that science hasn't fully explained yet.
And he links this to dreams.
He does. He brings up dreams as an extension of this force, describing them as bizarre sequences reminiscent of cartoons like Roger Rabbit. He notes scientists found neural signals keep firing during sleep, questioning if we think while asleep. He attributes it to the subconscious, but admits it's still kind of undefined.
So this inner force connects to things like willpower, intuition.
Yes, willpower, inspiration, intuition, and even the brain's hemispheres, the right for imagination, the left for logic. It really highlights how this mysterious inner world manifests in creativity. He cites Beethoven composing without revisions, apparently, and Muhammad Abdel Wahab capturing melodies straight from his dreams.
Okay, so this inner world interacts powerfully with the outer world too, especially in what he calls collective behavior.
Yes, that's a key point for him. He's astonished at how global fashion houses dictate trends, making people feel inadequate if they don't follow, even if it contradicts their own independent taste.
And advertising shapes this. The mobile phone example is spot on.
Totally. Turning them into symbols of love, success, and social prestige, leading people to sacrifice basic needs just to buy them on installment plans.
There's that joke he shares.
Life is nothing but a caller and a receiver, and he admits his own temptation to buy a phone, even if it meant landing in jail, just so he could call his beloved from behind bars.
It's a stark commentary on our priorities, isn't it? And this manipulation, it extends to how we see nature, ancient wonders.
It truly does, which leads him to this poignant call to rediscover life anew and return to a pure, unspoiled essence that he feels has been corrupted by materialism.
He worries people mistake natural sounds for, what was it?
A leaky faucet. Mistaking a stream's murmur for a leaky faucet or neglecting an irrigation hose, failing to appreciate nature's simple wisdom.
So reconnecting with nature is the antidote.
That's what he argues. Observing a flower, following water's path, sharing a child's world, these things can restore balance, revive imagination, and free the mind from burdens. He highlights clouds and rain as a natural model of cost-free irrigation, even a brilliant way to desalinate seawater.
And he praises Hassan Fathi's architecture.
Yes, the Korna village, using local materials and those circular domes for comfort and stability. He connects it back to that universal law of rotation we talked about earlier. He suggests humanity is instinctively drawn to natural materials over harmful synthetics anyway.
His critique then broadens to how we treat creatures we find ugly.
Exactly. Humanity's hostility towards ugly or seemingly useless creatures like owls, crows, cockroaches, and ants. He really admires the ants.
He describes their kingdoms.
Magnificently organized. With armies, supplies, labor systems, he says they're superior to many human societies. He even mentions the prophet's teaching forbidding the killing of ants.
So nature has its own balance.
Right. Nature thrives on equilibrium, the cat versus mouse, the dog versus fox, and human interference disrupts it, leading to problems like locust swarms or rat invasions. He shares that charming anecdote about teaching his young daughter not to be hostile to insects.
And her finding the carpet tags.
Yeah, showing her early deduction skills. But then he gets quite critical, impartially reporting his own strong critique of Brigitte Bardot.
Okay, what's the point there?
He acknowledges her commendable work for animal rights, but criticizes her mockery of the Eid al-Adha sacrifice, while in his view, overlooking mass human genocides. He specifically mentions the mass graves of Bosnian Muslims. This leads him to a broader concern about a feeble conscience in humanity, one that might need a conscience transplant.
Wow, that's direct. And this connects to his skepticism about modern priorities.
Yes. squandering billions on deep space exploration when diseases plague humanity. He cites things like fake cancer cures and shark fin remedies advertised in Egyptian newspapers.
And then he tackles the internet, the persistent headache.
Yeah. He acknowledges its dual nature, a tool for knowledge, business, connection, but also its role in spreading crime, moral corruption, isolation, and attacks on religions.
He did his own little experiment.
He did. Searching keywords like peace war, love hate, found hopeful results for peace and love, but sadly also the dominance of pornographic sites.
So what's the takeaway on the internet?
His conclusion is that wisdom lies not in rejecting it, but in learning how to use it wisely and purposefully. Especially, he notes, for presenting religions in a proper way.
Okay, so from these modern challenges, let's shift. Let's look at ancient wonders and how they might reflect some of these persistent struggles.
That's a powerful shift. And Ezeldin turns his gaze to ancient wonders, particularly challenging our common understanding of something as huge as the Great Pyramid.
He questions the whole just a tomb idea.
Exactly. Was all that immense resource and effort just for a burial site? He suggests alternative theories, maybe astronomical research given its precise alignment.
Or a living structure for Khufu, a fortress.
Or a multifunctional masterpiece. He touches on the secret chambers, the lost knowledge of ancient Egyptian priests, like embalming techniques.
He mentions the Quran story too, but carefully.
Yes, impartially. The story of Pharaoh asking for a tower to see God, clarifying it's an analogy, not a claim the pyramid is that tower. He also reports on those controversial claims, Westerners worshiping pyramids, Jewish claims of building them, even alien intervention theories.
What's his point about those theories?
He highlights the author's view that such claims simply cannot accept that the Egyptian mind was capable of such brilliance.
He contrasts ancient monumentalism with modern miniaturization.
He does, though he leans towards modern functionality. But here is a fascinating takeaway: the economic wisdom. He sees the pyramid as a foreseen, infinite source of revenue from tourism.
Making it an economic miracle in itself.
In a way, yes. And he presents Dr. Zahi Hawas's evidence that the builders weren't slaves, but organized laborers and farmers, directly refuting Israeli claims.
That's a remarkable reframing of an ancient wonder. Okay, let's pivot to something maybe more relatable day-to-day. Boredom.
Yes,
Yeah.
boredom. He calls it a monotonous word that robs life of joy and can even breed depression.
But it has a purpose.
He suggests its purpose is actually to push humanity toward constant change and refinement. He uses that anecdote about the poor man winning the lottery.
And getting sick of apples.
Right, becoming miserable from repetitive luxury.
And the longer Lebanese restaurant story builds on that.
It does. It's a parable showing this hunger for change, even at the cost of ruin, which naturally raises the question, what truly defines wealth?
Okay, so how does he define it?
He differentiates between wealth, just possessing money, and richness, which he sees as self-sufficiency and, crucially, contentment.
He critiques people living beyond their means.
Exactly. Imposing lifestyles they can't afford, leading to universal complaints, whether it's about buying expensive French bread or imported soap. He humorously points out how desires escalate with wealth like ordering dinner from Paris, but people still find things to complain about, like the service.
So the key is contentment and gratitude.
Those are the true measures, he emphasizes. He highlights the relativity of economic status. A Rolls-Royce price is insane to a middle-income person, but pocket change to a billionaire. He also addresses the critique of wealthy extravagance versus religious prohibitions on excess, mentioning the role of zakat, Islamic charity, in bridging class divides.
And he introduces that concept of the third dimension of perception.
Right. T equals D euro plus D plus M. It's a formula for balanced perspective. T is the truer perception, D, euro are different, often conflicting viewpoints, and M is that crucial missing or correcting factor needed for balance, like finding the nuance.
That's a really interesting way to frame how we process information and reach understanding. So as we seek this kind of true wisdom and balance, how does divine truth guide us? And what can we learn from geniuses?
That brings us to one of the deepest truths Ezeldin explores, the Holy Quran. He presents its core idea as this unique challenge from God to all humankind try to produce even a single chapter like it.
And he argues it's fundamentally different from other great literature.
Yes. He explains why masterpieces like Shakespeare or the Iliad can't compare. The Quran, he states, contains absolute reality, is free from human imperfection. Its words are irreplaceable and it cannot be revised.
He emphasizes its comprehensiveness.
Absolutely. Covering history, creed, Science, society, legislation, all delivered with varied literary forms, from poetic rhythm to captivating prose. He says it has this unique ability to instill tranquility in the hearts.
He mentions the scientific miracle aspect, too.
Citing descriptions of embryo development, predictions made in the past tense. He even uses a musical analogy, describing its verses having intensity, speed, or pauses, creating a general emotional experience. Its aim, he stresses, is the happiness of all humanity, addressing diverse cultures. And its value goes beyond mere reading reward for every letter, light on Judgment Day.
And he shares a personal experience.
Yeah, finding solutions to problems directly from Quranic verses, like needing patience for a job change, which then led to a promotion.
Okay, so from divine truth, he then moves to something quite different, the acrobat within every human. What's that about?
It's about questioning if human nature is fixed. Can traits completely flip at a turning point? He gives examples. A polite man sacrificing himself, or a criminal turning to God for his sick child.
So there's hidden good in bad people, and maybe vice versa.
Exactly. Echoing Yusuf Idris's play, Al-Balawan, the acrobat, suggesting a dormant good man inside villains and maybe a measure of evil in good people.
That's compelling. He even talks about internal symphonies.
Yeah, it's a fascinating metaphor. Inner sounds changing with mood, a sharp note for anger, low for sadness, neural signals, the heartbeat as conductor. He humorously wonders if melodic compatibility could be a thing for relationships if we had the right device.
Huh. And then the parallel processing idea.
Right, like computers. Suggesting humans can acquire this through education, maybe training a child to link unrelated words like rosefish sword to deduce relationships independently.
He brings back his daughter's intelligence.
Yes, recalling her finding those carpet tags at just 6 months old. He really emphasizes that training a child to link things can lead to multi-directional analysis and creativity.
And the ice cube theory.
That connects behavior to environment. Collective life shapes individuals, like water taking the shape of its container, but behavior can change under different conditions, like an ice cube melting. His example is the wealthy man whose priorities shift drastically when lost in the desert.
So all this leads to his definition of genius.
Pretty much. He concludes that genius is about seeing the world from a completely different angle, living in constant amazement, even at simple things.
And the anecdotes about geniuses really illustrate that.
They do. The scientist with the wedding ring on the test tube, Einstein disliking bathing, Beethoven's untidiness, Dr. Ahmed Zewail's Nobel Prize joke, the Ain Shams professor cleaning the blackboard with water, afraid of chalk dust. Quirky, but focused.
What truly stands out to me, though, is that powerful image of Dr. Zahi Hawass rushing to check statues during an earthquake. That just epitomizes the passion.
Absolutely. The profound focus and passion of true genius.
Wow. We've certainly covered a remarkable breadth of topics today, from intricate cosmic laws down to human psychology, society, the search for wisdom. Hassam Ezelden's Cerebral Humor really does offer these playful reflections as powerful lenses, doesn't it? Ways to view our own lives, challenge assumptions, find deeper meanings.
Indeed, and the author himself often asks, what does this all mean? We've explored cerebral humor as this journey of contemplation. So after diving into all these varied reflections, maybe consider this. If wisdom truly lies in understanding what we cannot grasp, and in finding that third dimension in our perceptions, what fundamental truth about your own life, maybe something previously unexamined, might be waiting for you to just acknowledge its mystery? What will you choose to contemplate next?